people doing interpretive dancing. Works really well on the radio. Anyway, Dermot's up next. Have a cracking Saturday night. Have a great Sunday. And I'll see you for breakfast on Monday. This is BBC Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker, and 88 to 91 in the FM.
BBC News at 5 o'clock. This is Nikki Cardwell. Boris Johnson has insisted that concerns about his leadership have been settled, despite the Conservatives suffering heavy defeats in 2 by-elections this week. The losses led to the resignation of the party's co-chairman, Oliver Dowden, and a call by the former Tory leader, Lord Howard, for the Prime Minister to stand down. Mo Hussein is a former Conservative advisor. He said Mr Johnson's MPs would now be weighing up whether he should lead them into the next general election.
You will have lots of MPs now, whether you are in marginal seats with a majority of, a few thousand or less, or whether you are in a seat which has been long held by the Conservatives with 10, 15, 20,000 majorities. What we have seen is that there is no such thing now as a safe seat, and all of these MPs will be thinking, is this the person who can help me win my seat again at the next election?
The head of the RMT union, Mick Lynch, has called on the Transport Secretary Grant Shapps to engage constructively with talks when they resume on Monday. People across Britain have been facing a third day of disruption caused by strike action over jobs, pay and conditions. Tony Miles from Modern Railways magazine says a compromise could be in sight.
The discussion seemed to be hinting at maybe it's going to be possible to separate the pay award and then start talking about terms and conditions separately. I think as long as everything's wrapped up together, it's going to be a really difficult process to move forward from, because there isn't any kind of quid pro quo in it that there would normally be. So perhaps the only way forward is going to be to agree a pay agreement and then start to talk about jobs, terms and conditions going forward.
The mayor of the eastern Ukrainian city of Severodonetsk says it's been fully occupied by Russian forces after weeks of intense fighting. Ukrainian troops have been withdrawn from the city to better defend neighbouring Lysychansk. Senior ministers say the government will press on with the policy of taking migrants to Rwanda. The Prime Minister said it is humane. The Ministry of Defence says 231 migrants were brought ashore at Dover yesterday, taking the total this year to more than 12,000. The Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who's in Rwanda for a Commonwealth meeting, says the criminals behind the crossings must be stopped.
We are very determined to follow through on this migration partnership. It's very important we break the business model of these appalling people traffickers who are putting people's lives at risk, particularly in the English Channel. And this partnership that we have developed with Rwanda benefits both countries working very closely together.
President Biden has signed into law new gun control measures passed by Congress following a spate of mass shootings. They're the most significant change in US gun safety rules in 3 decades. Mr. Biden acknowledged that the changes did not go as far as he'd hoped, but insisted that lives would be saved. And the weather, showers easing for many this evening, but longer spells of rain continuing for Northern Ireland. BBC News, it's 3 minutes past 5. BBC Radio 2. Time now for the traffic and travel news. Here's Sally.
Thank you, Nikki. Yes, there's major disruption on most trains all day. Well, most of them have actually parked up for the night. At least some of them have. Anyone that was running, that is, which was very, very few. That industrial action may have a knock-on effect through Sunday across the National Railwork, network, so bear that in mind. Now, the A1M near Doncaster is closed southbound between junctions 35 and 34 following an accident. It was closed in both directions, but they've managed to reopen the northbound side, but it remains busy in the area. And don't forget those roadworks at junction 26 of the M62 south of Leeds have been causing long queues both ways all day. And delays too on the westbound M56 as you head towards junction 15 and the M53, still slow following an accident there earlier on. Near Blackpool, the A588 at Poulton-le-Fylde is closed in both directions. There's been an accident between Poulton-le-Fylde and Hambleton, so there are delays. Don't forget the A1, the Great North Road, is closed southbound until Monday morning. That's from the Brampton interchange and the A14 through to Southholme, north of St Neots. The South Circular, the 205, is closed between Kew Bridge and the M4, junction 1, causing awful queues all day. Still, if you're coming out of London on the A4, M4, expect long queues, expect long delays on all all the approaches to the Chiswick roundabout and also to the Hogarth roundabout. That's all the travel for today. Enjoy Glastonbury.
Dermot O'Leary.
Live at Glastonbury on BBC Radio 2.
Thank you, Sally. Very nice of you. I love when Sally's all business. It's very rarely happens. Thanks to Vern for a great show as well. Welcome, my friends, to Worthy Farm and 3 hours of Glastonbury Lovely. It's kicking off with this.